24th July 2021. No, 24th August 2021. It is a beautifully sunny Wednesday and everything has grown really well thanks to this rain and then warmth and then rain. Is going to be dry. We have high pressure around England, over England, so we're going to have very dry weather. And this is just to show you the view from last time, so you can check it. This was all cut back. It will be cut back today later, but at this moment everything is as it has grown in the last few weeks. These are poisonous red berries, so they're not for consumption for humans. Blackberries are not doing that well. We haven't had that much rain. Last year's was a very good crop. So just, there is a proverb, if you see lot of red berries, it will be a cold winter. I haven't seen too many. We will see. These are beautiful purple wild flowers. They seem to be in full bloom at the moment. There's a whole bed of these. I find that since this is ancient woodland, that these are all indigenous species. So they've grown here for thousands of years. And this area was owned by monks once. I will find out the history and tell you about it. But then in 1954, it was broken up and sold off because the family died in the Second World War, and what was left, they went up north where they had estates. There is a beautiful church where they are buried, and I might take you round there so you can come and see it. You can't see it anytime you want. You have to have permission because it is just open now and then. But it is a beautiful village. Anyway, these are the wildflowers, and there are always wildflowers, and there are specialist pollinators. Sometime in June, July, there are orchids called tway blades, which I didn't get around to seeing them because I was a bit busy, and by the time I came they had flowered and moved on. But they have, if that orchid dies, then the pollinator will die as well. So it's very important to maintain open spaces where these orchids and these wildflowers can grow. But it is a labor of love. There is a lot of work to do and lot of energy required, plus time, but it gets done slowly but surely. These are wild blackberries. All blackberries, when they are pink, are not ready to eat. But when they are black, they are sweet and ready to eat. These are small in size. The commercial ones are much bigger. These have a unique taste. I've had one so far. Here is a view of the meadow, seeing it from the wood through the trees. It has its own beauty. It is a lovely, lovely sunny day. Here is the meadow, the normal view I take, so you can compare it week to week. The grass is growing. It has been cut. Some of it has been left behind to mulch back. For various reasons, it was not baled this year. But it won't hurt to go back into the soil this year anyway. I always take this view because this is the view I have on various of my blogs, starting from some months ago. This is where I showed you lots and lots of bluebells, and there was a carpet of bluebells, And now again the trees have grown and the life cycle is complete. In about 2 months' time the leaves will start to fall, and then the cycle will start again. In spring along here you will see lots and lots of primroses, yellow wild primroses, but they have now all died down. Bluebells have gone, and here's another view of the meadow. We will start work on the meadow hopefully sometime, but at the moment there is a lot of work to do here which needs doing. If you see this type of grass with slight thick stems, then this area is marshy. As you can see, even though it hasn't rained for several weeks, it is still marshy and there's a wee bit of water. This is the low point for this area anyway, and all the water drains here. Hence we have the ponds, which I will show you in a minute. This grass is now seeding, so those who have hay fever will not like to see this, but it's beautiful to know that originally all grass and all wheat was like this with small seeds. Now we have different varieties of seeds and grass. Well, wheat is a kind of grass for due to selective breeding. I'm at the second pond, which is the smaller pond, and there are dragonflies just above the water. I will not say anything, and I will scan the surface, and if you are lucky you will see the dragonflies darting, because they are hunting and they can do a 90-degree turn or a 180-degree turn, which I don't think even we can manage today. Well, what we witnessed was the mating dance of the dragonflies. They mated in midair and then they flew up into the sky and then into the woods. They will then lay their eggs in the pond, and you can look up the life cycle of the dragonflies in Kent, British dragonflies. And then when the nymphs come out, they will stay in the pond for 2 years, and then they will mature and come out as grown dragonflies, and the life cycle will repeat. They are a great benefit because we don't get bitten by mosquitoes, because they have eaten a lot of the insects and the mosquitoes. I'm told that these bridges were built in the 19th century, so they're well over 100 years old, maybe nearly 200 years old. And as you can see, the stream, which I have videoed before, is now all dried up. So if it wasn't for the ponds, there would be no fresh water to drink. So those two ponds are vital. They are now 20 years old, both of them almost, well established, and lots of dragonflies because of them as well in the wood. A beautiful view of the sunlight filtering through the trees. Trees have a maximum canopy now. This is the area where the wood anemones grow from April onwards, and if you look at the blogs I've done from April or May or March, you will see a carpet of white flowers very close to the ground, and it is a carpet, and it really looks like the stars have come down onto the earth. They all face the sun, so they follow the sun, and they have little purple or pink tinge in the center. Absolutely amazing. Locals call them made something, I've forgotten now, but they are wood anemones. You can see this oak tree has been cut. It has been harvested. You have to have permission to cut oak trees, and very hardwood oak, and some of what you can't take away or don't want to use is left behind as habitat. for insects and burrowing insects and moss. As you can see, it's covered in moss and lichen. Beautiful green stump of an old oak tree. Here are the ends of another oak tree which has been harvested, again left as a habitat for the wildlife. You can see which way it was growing. Here's some more carefully cut. The bits they didn't want, they left behind. This tree has died a natural death. As you can see, its roots have just come apart from the soil. It must have been very windy. The wind caught it and it's fallen down on the ground, taken another tree with it as well, and there it is, a huge tree all on the ground. But the insects have been busy and it is going to be converted back to soil soon. The miracle of life and miracle of a whole life cycle, which is worth observing, and then one appreciates nature as well as on the fragility of the planet. It is very, very fragile and we have to look after it. This is a birch tree with bracket fungus growing from the side. This tree has fallen and now the insects have grown, made holes, and here is a bracket fungus. I'll put my finger there so you can see the size of it. And here is a bigger sample, and you can see my finger, so it's quite a big sample. And to show you the width of my finger, there's my finger, so it's quite a big stem of the birch tree. Here is another example of the, I'll put it right, I won't touch it, could be poisonous, but, and here's another one from the other side, same one from the other side, and that's the one I showed you. It's the other side of the stem, and there are smaller ones here, some have broken off. Here's another one growing. They grow horizontally, that's why they are called bracket fungi. Here is a primrose plant which has flowered and busy trying to make a bigger bulb for next year, and they like to grow on well-drained soil. So as you can see, this is an edge of a stream. There is the stream, and here it is growing. Hopefully I'll remember and come back here in the spring, inshallah, and show you. I dropped my water bottle, so I picked up, otherwise I would have left it as litter. Not good, not good. Litter is very bad for the environment. Here is a leaning oak tree. It's not dead. The wind came very, very, very strongly a few years ago, and it uprooted the oak tree. But the oak tree, I'll show you the other side, then fell on another tree on the other side, which I will show you when I get to it, and it is alive and well. But it is a beautiful example of what wind damage can do and how strong the winds can be. It uprooted the whole tree. It's a huge tree. Here are 3 primrose plants which are now sort of making bulbs and hopefully show us a good display in the summer. I know where it is, so hopefully, inshallah, I will show you next year the primroses. This is the other side of the oak tree. It's leaning, and there's a little bit of water, but not enough to drink, in the bottom of that, and there is the dry stream bed. Just fished out this bag from the culvert. This where the tree had fallen, because of the culvert blocking. There are 2 bags inside, in fact one inside the other one really stinks, and so we have to be so careful about disposing of these bags. Don't know where it's come from. It looks quite new, and yet it has been damaging this wood, blocking up. So obviously trees then start falling because then they're living in having their feet in water. And please be aware, this is your environment. The oak tree I've been showing is from the right hand side of the picture, and it is as you can see, it's leaning against that. If it had fallen, it would have then lost all its roots, but some of the roots are in the water, so it is alive and well, but leaning on that and making a beautiful arch in the wood. It's been like this for some years now. And that other is also an oak tree, so oak trees live for hundreds of years, so in years to come it will still be the same. This area becomes very marshy when the rains come from September onwards. So as you can see, there is this special thick stemmed grass, and there is more of the grass, the similar grass along here, because it gets very, very marshy. They're all flowering now. So those are the flowers. So people with hay fever will not be happy at all. Here is a here is a view of the wood from the meadow, and you can see the difference where the grass or hay was baled and where it has been allowed to go back into the soil. For next year, the farmer said he had suffered a loss. Obviously, if you can't bale it and sell it, you suffer a loss. But can't complain about the weather. It is really hot and warm, even though it's quite late in the day. So enjoy a staycation